This episode of Digital Photography Cafe is brought to you by Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool for your camera, and by Daisy Grip, for a child's smile for a photographer's camera.
Welcome to the Digital Photography Cafe. I'm Trevor Curry, your digital marketing guy.
And I'm Joseph Christina, your professional photographer.
So grab a latte, pull up a chair, and join us as we chat about the art and business of photography.
So hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Last week we talked about WordPress 3.4 update, and we spoke about a minimalistic approach to lighting. If you haven't listened to last week's show, I encourage you to do so. You can find it on iTunes, listen in your car through Stitcher Radio, or simply head over to the website, digitalphotographycafe.com, and listen online.
So Joe, we're back, buddy. Episode 60.
60. We are back.
Yeah. Rolling into the 4th of July week here.
Yeah. It should be fun.
Yeah. Holiday time. We're already celebrating a little bit over here. Had a nice weekend down at a friend's house. Down at the shore.
Yeah, you went to the shoreline. Nice.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Got the fireworks coming up on Wednesday. So,
right.
Yeah, looking forward to that. The kids love that stuff.
I think we might head down to Key West or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Ooh, that'd be
We got to get out of here for a little bit.
Yeah, I bet it's fun down in Key West.
Yeah, that's the most southern part of the United States. So maybe I'll bring a tripod and one of the numerous bodies and hook up a lens and see what we get, you know?
Yeah, you can pretty much throw a stone and hit Cuba from there, right?
Yeah, I think it's about right. You can actually see Castro laid back, smoking a cigar and
He's
drinking some
watching the
rum
fireworks from Key West.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's like 70 miles away. On a clear day, you can actually see Cuba. Yeah.
Yeah, yep. I know.
So,
yep, good stuff. So, hey, this week we had a comment that came in through email, which we always love.
So I heard.
Yeah, and it came from a guy named Andy. And he said, "Hi, love the show. Quick question. Last episode, you talked about Drobo and went through backup solutions that you deploy. Enjoyed the commentary on the G-Ray disk structure. No mention of offsite backup was made for their configuration. Do you have anything additional?"
Yeah, that whole conversation was back in episode 58, and that's what we were talking about. Scott Kelby ditching Drobo, kind of because of the hard drive problems. You know, thing going on off, and their customer service was just definitely not bountiful or helpful. And you know, not to be a hater of Drobo, but you know, my suggestion has always been. Like a G-Raid or something like that, because I like that type of styled backup.
Right.
But so you know, for me, as far as offsite, I like Dropbox. I like the way Dropbox works. For me, what we do is we'll have a bin that we call finals. And anytime a project is done, let's say we're sending something into an art director, or we have some final images that are going to be, let's say, actor headshots or whatever it is, and they're the actual finals. They're the PSDs, the TIFF files, the whatever. Right. We don't do this with like CR2s or any kind of raw files, but we do it with finals. We just simply take those finals and drop a copy into a folder called finals. That folder is actually synced with Dropbox, and then in the background, whenever it feels like it, very nicely and easily and friendly and everything, it will slowly upload it into the cloud. The thing I like about Dropbox is it does it, like I said, nicely and easily. The problem with doing it with different, other type of backups for me is that you not only have to do it manually, you have to drop it in there, but then usually it's hitting it full throttle. And if you're doing hundreds of megs, you're sitting there kind of waiting, So,
right. Yeah. It's definitely not, for those types of solutions, you definitely don't want to do them midday, work day, when you really need your internet access.
Right.
So yeah, I agree. Dropbox is really nice. We use it for the show for transferring files back and forth. And it is just that. It's nice. It's smooth. It doesn't kill your internet. And the beauty is you can sync it with, let's say, another computer, at a different location. Like what we do, we have a common Dropbox folder that we use. And if I send something to you, I just drop it in the folder, and over time, eventually it'll get to the Dropbox server, and then it will download to your computer. Right. And eventually, you'll go in, flip open the folder, and there it is.
Yeah, it's just automatic.
Yeah, really cool. I like Dropbox a lot. I mean, I use Amazon S3, and I use a software program called Arc Online Backup.
Yeah, you spoke about that a few weeks back, right?
Yeah, we talked about it a while back, and it's from a company called Haystack Software. So you can go to haystacksoftware.com, learn more about it. But what I like about it is fully automated. So what you can do is you can go in, preset it, attach your Amazon S3 account to it, and then you can go in and select what folders you want to have backed up from your hard drive.
Right.
And so that's what I do. I go through and select a few key folders that I put client work in, and I just back it up automatically. Right. The beauty of S3 is it is obviously offsite. It's at, Amazon's data centers with powerful infrastructure. And it's really not that expensive. I mean, you can put a lot of data up there, and it really doesn't cost you all that much per month. The biggest selling point for me, though, was the automated backup. It just does it. I have it set up to run at 3:00 in the morning when I'm in Z-land,
right,
and not even thinking about it. So you know what? If it detects that my network is not really being used and it wants to go full bore, have at it.
Right.
Get it up
that's
there
perfect.
Quick.
So there you kind of have it, So I guess to Andy's question, we both do two different things. You're on the Drobo side. I'm on a G-Raid side. I'm doing Dropbox. You're doing S3 with Arc. There's so many different ways to do it. The bottom line is just to do it.
Just to do it. Yeah, I was just going to say that. You got to do something.
Right.
Get it
so however you do it, kind of get it done.
Yeah.
Another thing that I was kind of, when I was wandering through the web, I found a new product that's going to be coming out soon. And it kind of it brings back memories. And, we were talking about Polaroid dying not too long ago, and the whole thing.
Right.
Well, Polaroid's coming out with the Z2300, it's called. And it's an instant camera, but it's digital. It's a 10 megapixel. It's like a retro camera. It actually looks like an old, the old Polaroid type of thing, but it's flat. The cool thing, it won't be out, I think, until August. But regardless, when I was reading through this, I'm like, damn, this is really cool stuff. And it just brought back memories and some great ideas. So anyways, this camera, is supposedly going to be about $150. That's what they say, 10 megapixels. But the thing is, there's no ink involved. So you're not actually printing, so to speak. 50 sheets of the printed material, the medium, is $25. So that comes to, what is it, 50 cents a piece, doing the math?
Yeah,
I think
50 cents a print, yep.
Right. So instead of like the old, you print your Polaroid and you're kind of shaking it,
Yep.
You really don't need to do, but everyone decided for some reason, you had to do that.
It was just
a cool thing to do. But
more interactivity with your print.
Yeah. So now the paper actually comes with an emulsion that actually has clear crystals on it, and the clear crystals that are embedded are what is it? Cyan, yellow, and magenta. They're dyes. So what happens is they're heat activated. So when they come out the camera, they activate to whatever color they need to activate to. That's how it prints. So
That's
there's
cool.
It's pretty cool, right? So there's no, let's say ink, so to speak, involved, number one, and it's not instant film either. It's just this new type of style emulsion. Now it's 2x3 is the size of the images. This brings me back to the old medium format. When we used to print contacts, a medium format is, what is it, like 2.25 or 2.5 by 3, or, it's about that same size,
right.
For the big sized medium format film. So the size is perfect. Can you imagine 10 megapixels? In
that tiny print, sure.
On that tiny print, it's going to look fantastic.
It's going to look great.
And if they get this quote unquote clear crystals turning into what they need to turn into really to work, as they say, this is going to be fabulous, because that is one of the things I'm sure that you have an issue with. I know I do. My wife, I'm like the shoemaker that goes without shoes. I never have pictures.
Right.
Everyone else has pictures, and you go. Let's say you just went to the shore. You took a whole bunch of pictures. Well, how many of those pictures have you printed so far? Right?
Yeah, none. None.
Right.
That really is the problem, that nobody really prints pictures anymore. They kind of just shoot all these digitals, and the kind of the blessing and the curse of digital is that you can kind of just shoot a whole bunch, and we've got these huge memory cards, and you can just go to town and take all these pictures. A lot of the pictures are crap, and they're not things that you'd want to print. And if you had done that on a roll of film and sent it out, you get these prints back that were like garbage, and you'd be, can't believe I wasted my money on that, So, but now nobody's really printing. They're kind of just viewing online. And it really is sad too, because a lot of these memories go forgotten from, just leaving them on the computer and never having any prints.
Right. And how about if you didn't have that offsite backup and you had a fire? Now, well, obviously your prints would have been gone too, but maybe you had them in a firebox of some kind. I agree. The problem that, especially as photographers, like I say, we go without, we're the shoemakers that go without shoes. Most of the times we do not have a lot of prints. We're doing photography for other people, and we're barely doing it for ourselves. We have barely, images of our kids, unless we're,
that's right. I get people asking me all the time, "Oh, let's see pictures of your kids," and I'm like,
and you're like, "Oops."
Yeah, well, I don't have any printed ones. I whip out the iPhone and pull it up.
Right.
Here they are.
And God forbid the iPhone should brick and you haven't synced it lately. Well, you just lost all that.
Then those are gone too.
The one thing that I really did like about this, this new Polaroid that's going to be coming out is, unlike the old ones where you would point, shoot it, the thing would pop out 20 seconds later, or actually 2 minutes later, of blowing and shaking or whatever you want to do to try to rush it, but it'll never rush it. There's no way to make it go quicker. Right. There's your image. This new one is instantaneous. As it comes out, it is as it's done. So it's done the minute that it pops out. That's number one. Number two, that's cool, is instead of taking the shot and now every single shot you take comes out, because just like you said, a lot of them are crap. You actually can select on the back of the camera. It's got a real nice 3-inch view font, of LCD on the back. You could select the images that you want to print. So if you take 5 shots and there's a whole bunch of blinking and all kinds of, you could select the one that you like, hit print, boom, it pops out. What a great memory, or something like if you're out with the family or if you're out with friends, or, I could see.
Absolutely. From a personal standpoint, having a little thing like this in your pocket with you, or your bag or something, is great just for those types of family and friends gatherings where maybe there's people you haven't seen in a while. You can take a picture, print out a bunch of them, hand them to people. It costs you 50 cents a piece, but that's all right, because if you don't see them all that often, it's money well spent.
Yeah, the alternative to that is they get a low-res image on Facebook at the end of the night that they can't do anything really with it anyways. They pull it onto your computer and whatever. So I love that. I think it's great. I think that we as photographers, and I think everyone, just needs to print more. Because we just don't print enough. I tell you what, when I do my gallery showings, I'm going to be having, I think, a showing coming up following month, 1 month from now, I believe, 2 months possibly. Anyways, whenever I do a showing, usually I'm doing black and white chemical prints, old school, right? But I'm doing them 60 by 40. I mean, they're huge. And when you view something that big, obviously it's not a 2 by 3, but when you view something, that's actually printed, all of a sudden it's become real. I don't know. There's something about once it's out in the wild and multiple people can see it and sit around it, it just makes it real. So I think that's a great thing, especially during the summer now. Go print some more. I think it'll make you happy. It'll make you smile. You
can look absolutely. And you know what? Look at the supplies on Amazon or something like that, because you can get your paper supplies a lot cheaper and your print supplies a lot cheaper online if you do a little homework than you can at your local office supply store. So I know a lot of people, it's so expensive to print, and it is. It is expensive. But if you go online, you can get some nice 4x6 glossy, really nice. I mean, I've got an Epson printer here that I use. I get some really nice Epson stock, just some 4x6s and run out some prints every once in a while. And, and my mom, she's got the same printer. We got it for her for Christmas one year, and she loves it. I mean, she's got all these little 4x6 frames all around the place, and these collage frames and stuff like that. And she'll take pictures from different occasions, and she'll just drop them in it and put them up for a while, and then she'll change them out. And she loves it. She loves having
makes you happy.
The house.
Yeah, you get to actually
makes you
see
happy.
Something.
Yep.
I know everyone always said, "Oh, well, we're going to put our pictures up on the TV and just rotate them in a screensaver type of thing." It's just not the same.
Nah,
it's not the same. I tell you what, there's one other thing. It's kind of not photography related, but it kind of is. I don't know. I'm like a techie kind of person. I've always been. I'm like a Unix guy. But anyway, so there's this new thing out where I think it's Rice University. Someone there did some work on experimenting, and they came up with a lithium battery that's spray on. It's like I think 3 or 5 coats of this stuff, and you can spray it through just a regular sprayer, and it's a battery. So can you imagine what can be done with that? Like, for example, like let's say your iPhone, inside the iPhone, they have glued in a battery that's X size. Now, Could you imagine now if they take the entire backside of an iPhone and be able to spray the entire back of the iPhone before closing it with 0.5 millimeters of this battery stuff. And now all of a sudden you have a battery that's like 4 or 5 or 10 times the size of the battery that you normally would have inside the phone. This can go on and on for so many different products, for, handheld tablet type of things, to notebooks, to just anything. A spray-on liquid battery. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, that would be really cool. I'm curious to see how cost-effective it's going to be to produce something like that. Obviously, once it gets in a production line, it's all going to be machine sprayed and things like that. And technology is amazing. The way things are changing, it's all about improving the performance, conservation of energy, all that stuff. So anything we can do to advance that, I'm all for it.
No, absolutely. Well, I tell you what, we got a couple of topics that we're going to get into on the Twitter side. But before we do that, let's go ahead and take a quick break to hear from our sponsors.
Are you frustrated with slightly out of focus images when you know your autofocus spot was dead on? It's simply not your fault. From manufacturer to manufacturer, and even lens copy to lens copy, there are slight variances to the exact spot where light is being focused onto the sensor. Finally, there's a product that allows you to compensate for those variances and make sharper images immediately. Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool, is an absolute must for every photographer. If you want to make the sharpest images possible, then you need to take control over your camera's focusing system. With the Focus Pyramid, you can calibrate all of your lenses on your lunch break. The Focus Pyramid makes lens calibration quick and easy at an affordable price. So give your lenses a new lease on life and take your photography to the next level. Head over to focuspyramid.com/DPC and get an additional 10% off just for being a show listener. Hey, we're back, and we want to give a big special thanks to Focus Pyramid. They've been a long time sponsor with us now. Months and months.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And they kind of came on board with us, I guess in January or February. So it's been a really long time. And that's about the time, just shortly after Focus Pyramid actually came to market. And, it's a really cool product. We've been talking about it a long time. So, if you guys haven't checked it out, we definitely always encourage you to head over to the website and check it out. But right now, they're kind of giving us a great opportunity. Now, they're really looking to build buzz for their product. Since the introduction, they've been doing really, really well. Now they want to take it to the next level. And they're, looking to get it out to you people for reviews. So if you run a popular photography blog, or maybe you have a photography podcast, or maybe you just have a big social media following or something, and you have a lot of influence within the photo community, Focus Pyramid wants to send you a press kit with a free Focus Pyramid in it. And you can test it out and then write a review, and that'd be really great. So head over to focuspyramid.com/press for more information and to sign up.
Very cool. Very cool. So I guess we should move into the Twitter topics I was alluding to earlier. Now, Twitter, of course, they've been around forever. They are like the mainstay, the staple, let's say, to social media.
Yep.
I think they're like right there with Facebook on, many levels. I don't think, Google hasn't got there yet, but definitely it's Twitter and Facebook. And they just introduced a new logo. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it was time for an update, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of a simplified logo. And, Twitter's been around long enough that it's probably really not necessary for the words Twitter anymore. So they've simplified their logo down to a stylized bird, which is it's kind of neat. And they say that it's crafted from 3 sets of overlapping circles. And the idea being the circles representing your circle of friends, your communities, your interweaving networks, and all that. I mean, I don't know, whatever.
I don't know. Do you think they're overthinking this a little bit?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. For me, the little blue bird was great. I mean, I don't know. It just, I mean,
it's just a tweaked bluebird. without the word Twitter
I mean,
next to it.
like for me, if I was them, instead of trying to redo the logo, I would have probably just stuck with the blue bird and dropped the actual, the name, the Twitter itself out, and just stick with the blue bird. Everybody. I mean, you take a business card and you put that little blue bird in that business card. I mean, I would say, 80% of the people that look at it and say, oh, that's Twitter. I mean, anyone that's in social media.
Yeah, that's kind of,
that's not living under a rock, for the last 5 years or, but so yeah, I mean, for me, I don't know. I guess we'll see, we'll see what ends up happening with it.
Yeah. Well, they've got a whole page on their website now where you can go over. It's just twitter.com/logo. You can see the new logos. You can download them. You can use them on your site, your business cards. They give all the guidelines there. But really, they're kind of pushing to move to this new logo for everybody. Even the buttons and stuff that you're going to be putting on your websites are all going to be changed and updated to this new logo. Yeah. So
see, this is going to be a lot of effort for them, which, to me is just not necessary, but we'll see how it goes. Yep. They're definitely probably, they're thinking future, they're thinking, public, they're thinking probably it's just money, and how are we gonna brand it and keep the brand that way, like Coca-Cola for 100 years? Do we want the little blue bird or do we not? So I guess somebody, with this wonderful brain, came up with the idea of these 3 circles and how they mean something and that people are going to care. So hopefully they do.
Yeah. Hopefully,
hopefully they do. I love Twitter. It's by far my favorite place to be. So
yeah. So they also had something else interesting that kind of came out. They've been rolling out some new notification updates for a while now. A few shows back, we talked about getting kind of like a digest of tweets in your email inbox and stuff. Well. Another notification that they added was the Twitter follow suggestions.
Right.
So, if you're following a certain type of person, which in our case of photographers, we probably follow a lot of other photographers, Chase Jarvis, Trey Radcliffe, a bunch of them. So Twitter will look at who we follow and the type of content that we tweet about, and it will kind of make suggestions of potentially other photographers to follow. Right. And will then email them to you should you have those notifications turned on, which is kind of interesting. From what I'm reading, the algorithm that they're using right now for it is it needs tweaking. It needs
kludgy.
It's a little kludgy. It's making more general recommendations as opposed to really niching down and getting people that would be totally perfect for you.
Right, kind of like you would find on the website itself, right?
Yeah, on the website. So if you use the website on the the Twitter interface, over on the left-hand side, there's a column that says who to follow, and you can click in there and you can see who they suggest. That really is the idea. Yeah. So how is this beneficial to you guys as photographers? So you really, if at all possible, you want to get on this suggested list. You want to be in the people's email boxes, and you want to be in that who to follow box on the web interface there.
Right.
Now, and just kind of a side note, new people coming onto Twitter, by default, all these notifications are always turned on, right? So you need to know enough to go into your preferences and turn them off. Well, somebody that's new to Twitter, that's excited about it and just kind of getting into the swing, they're probably just going to leave them on because they're going to want all this Twitter information.
Yeah, they're not going to turn that off at all.
No, they're not going to turn it off. So ideally, you want your face to appear in these emails, and you want the link there so when they click on you, they can go to your page and they can follow you.
It was, I would kind of look at it as the equivalent to when Google Plus came live, and you had the Google Circle recommendation.
Right.
And if you were able to get into the recommendation from Google, as people became members of Google Plus, it would recommend, let's say you're a photographer, it would recommend all of these photographers that are in the recommended circles list. And what would people do? They would go and go click, 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 click,
Yep.
click, all the way down the entire list. And you would get everyone that's recommended would be automatically, let's call it, followed or circled through Google. Huge. The same type of thing of what you're talking about here with Twitter.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know that it's ever going to kind of get to that level. See, the thing with Google Plus and the circles and that recommended thing is the photographers that got in early got the best.
Sure.
The people that jumped into jumped on that bandwagon real quick. They're the ones that have thousands upon thousands, 35, 80, 100 and something thousand circles.
And the caveat to there, shared a ton of quality pictures and data and got a lot of interaction. That's what Google was looking for. So yeah.
Right. That's exactly right. So of course, they're in the recommended and everybody got selected. So the idea here is, yes, it's something similar. So you want to get on these lists. So let's say, for example, you're a photographer and maybe you do workshops and you want to connect with other photographers because you want to let them know about your workshops, or maybe you sell a product, maybe you're kind of like what Kevin Kubota's doing. They kind of do software, they do workshops, they do a bunch of different things. Well, obviously he's out there looking to connect with other photographers to let them know about the services they provide.
Sure.
So as a photographer, what you would want to do, if that's your kind of your goal here, you want to follow other high-ranking photographers on Twitter. You want to get out there, you want to see what they're talking about. You want to retweet their stuff. You want to talk about similar topics, because that all that data is being, fed into Twitter's algorithms there, and they want to create this connection. So if you start creating a connection, let's say between you and Trey Ratcliffe, for example, then as your Twitter following builds and you get a couple thousand followers and you're kind of moving up there a bit more, it's a higher likelihood that you're going to kind of show up in the same grouping that Trey might.
Sure.
So, that really, you really need to kind of look at all that. You need to follow the right people. You need to be tweeting the right stuff. Now, let's say, you're not trying to connect with other photographers necessarily. You're trying to find clients in your local area. So what you want to do is follow big Twitter accounts in your local community. So for example, like where I live, we have a local radio station that's fairly popular. A lot of people within the county listen to it. Well, they have a Twitter account. So me as a photographer, what I'd want to do is I'd want to go follow them, and then I would want to start retweeting some of their stuff. You'd want to start talking about your community in general. For example, maybe commenting about how you went to the local high school football game. It was great. You took some pictures while you were there.
Right. The chili cook-off.
Yeah, the chili cook-off. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, just things that are going to have local interest. So, I mean, and that's twofold. I mean, that is going to help you get on that suggested list. But as people are also searching for local people to connect with, by having this local information in your stream, it's going to be more appealing to them. I mean, they're going to say, "Oh, wow, this person really seems to get it and know, kind of what I'm looking for." And they're going to give you a follow. And then over time, then you can kind of connect with them on a one-on-one basis or a one-on-many basis and kind of start talking about your photography.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to the idea of, going to where your clients will be, and speaking about what interests your clients, speaking about the locations that interest your future clients, anything to get into the circles, pardon the pun with with Google Plus, but to get you into those areas where they will be socializing,
Right.
and speaking about what they're socializing about, anything that just makes good sense. That's not gaming the system in any way. It's just being smart about your marketing.
It's smart marketing. That's exactly
it.
right.
Right. I love it. I think that's pretty good. It's definitely cool. I like the idea that they're doing this. It's kind of like an enhancement, to the norm. It's
Yeah, I
pretty
think
cool.
so. And you know what? There's going to be people that are going to turn the notifications off because they're not going to want the emails from
Sure.
Twitter, and that's fine. But there's going to be the people that leave it on. But really, I think more importantly is that who to follow suggestion box on the web interface there,
Right.
because that's also going to flow down through, to the different Twitter client apps and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the best way, online is still the best way. In your mailbox is, it all has to do with the algorithm, and as it gets better and better, it's going to probably equal across both sides.
Right.
But either which way, it's great for just being social and just using it as a good, solid marketing tool in comparison to like Facebook, where you're in there more as a way of interacting with friends and past clients,
Right.
So,
Right. Exactly.
But anyways, before we go any further, let's go ahead and hear from one more of our sponsors.
Have you ever tried to photograph a child who was on the move and wouldn't settle down? A child who just wouldn't give your camera the time of day no matter what tricks you tried? If so, we have some great news for you. Introducing the Daisy Grip, your go-to tool for capturing a child's smile.
Just think of the Daisy Grip as your third hand. Just place it into your camera's hot shoe, insert the child's favorite toy or puppet, and let the smiles begin. Imagine the storytelling magic that you'll have at your disposal with a ferocious lion or a friendly monster sitting on top of your camera. For the ultimate attention getter, place your smartphone into the Daisy Grip and play the child's favorite cartoon.
With the addition of a Daisy Grip bracket, you can free up your hot shoe for a flash or wireless transmitter.
Let Daisy Grip put the space above your lens to work for you. Make this indispensable tool your new best friend. Head over to daisygrip.com/DPC to get the listener discount.
The Daisy Grip, for a child's smile, for a photographer's camera.
So, all right, guys, we are back. A couple of shows ago, we were telling you guys that, we want to, obviously we're a photography show, and we wanted to kind of, give you guys a little bit more multimedia type of content. So instead of a couple of talking heads that we currently are, I guess, inside small little monitors. But anyways, instead of a couple of talking heads, we want to kind of give you a little bit more of multimedia stuff, something that's a little more tangible. So gives you more, here's more of a reason for going online and watching the video of the show. So if you're in the car, kind of give it a look-see. Every once in a while, stop by. It's going to be in iTunes very, very soon, all of the shows. But for right now, go onto the website, digitalphotographycafe.com, and watch a couple of the episodes, and hopefully you guys like it. But anyways, going forward, you came up with something that was really cool, and you did a little video for us that I would like to play for everyone right now so they could kind of get an idea about this new concept of Facebook scheduling updates.
Did you know you can schedule Facebook page updates directly in Facebook now without the need for a third-party app? So a lot of people have used Hootsuite or other similar applications in the past to schedule posts to go live on your Facebook page. Well, now you can actually do it right in Facebook. It's a great new feature. It's been out for a little while. They've been rolling it out, so you'll probably start seeing it in your pages. So first off, all you have to do is just scroll down to your status. Okay, and you can just type in here a normal status update if you want. You could share a link as you would normally. You could share a photo or a video, whatever you want to do. Of course, if you share a link to a website, then you have the option of selecting a thumbnail image, so that's kind of cool. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if you are scheduling blog updates, let's say, and you're using, let's say, WordPress or Blogger or what have you, you're not going to be able to schedule the Facebook post update until the actual blog post goes live, because the URL for that blog post is not published yet. It's not public. So Facebook can't see it. So that's something to keep in mind. So pre-scheduling blog release really is not going to work, but once it is released on your blog, you can actually go in and create your schedule in here and make it go like you normally would. So for this demonstration, I'm just going to do a normal text post. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to type in my question. Now, what you do is you come over to the clock face that's down on the lower left here, schedule or backdate your post. So you can click that. It's really simple. You can add a year. So we're going to add 2012. You can add a month. And we're going to add July, since we're in July now. We're going to add a day. And we're going to put it for the 2nd. And you can even schedule it for the hour. So we're going to select, let's say, 11 a.m. And you could, if you really wanted to narrow it down, you could even add the minute. It's really easy to do. And that's pretty much it. So now you've added your year, your date, your time, and all you have to do is click schedule. And it gives you the window. It'll be posted on Monday, July 2nd, 2012 at 11 a.m. And that's it. Then you can close that and wait for 11 a.m. and you'll see your post pop up. So it's really simple. Just wanted to show you that. A lot of people really didn't know that this feature existed. So now you do.
I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was a great job, Trevor. I mean,
thanks.
Fantastic, easy to follow. I mean, that is really cool. The idea of being able to, write stuff that's going to be happening in the future, or the idea that you could also write stuff that happened in the past. That's really cool. I love it.
Yeah, well, sure. I mean, there's a lot of times where, maybe you had, let's say, released a blog post, or you have some images that you want to show, but you want to kind of keep it within your timeline on Facebook. So if somebody wants to go back through it or whatever, you kind of want to document it, So it gives you the ability to really kind of post date it and drop it in there further down in the timeline. I really like the future scheduling though, because, I don't want people to think that, you automate everything, you future post everything, you do all this stuff, you schedule everything. You're taking the interaction, you're taking the connecting out of social media.
Right.
That's not the point. Doing something like this, scheduling certain content, is a way to enhance your workflow.
Absolutely.
It's not to replace your community interaction. It's to enhance it.
Right.
So,
I mean, you still have to create the content. Let's say if you're doing a blog post, right? You still have to create the blog post. You have to, create that content. But maybe, you want to, let's say you create 2 blog posts that are going to be coming live in the next 2 days. Well, you don't want to have to sit there and manually say, okay, hey, the blog post is ready, go see it to all of your fans or friends on Facebook. But to be able to say, okay, have this go live on this date and at this time, at this minute of the day. I mean, that's great. That's great. That saves you a lot of time, but then it allows you to do other things without you having to think about getting this done. Just another thing that you could take off your plate.
Right, exactly. You could spend a couple hours and schedule a month's worth of content. And and maybe it's not even a blog post. Maybe they're special offers.
Right.
Maybe that, for your community, maybe you want to, present a special offer for a photo session, something like that. So it gives you the ability to kind of plan out things in advance, know and mark it on your calendar and know that the stuff is going to go live. So that way it creates that content. Hopefully you'll get some interaction on it, and then you can join back into the conversation and comment with people.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's a really great feature. And I like the fact now that it's built into Facebook.
Right.
So you don't really have to use Hootsuite or these other products anymore in order to do it.
Yeah, you're not sitting in a third party to get something done. They actually thought about it and said, hey, let's go ahead and allow them to do this. There's a couple of other features that are in there when you do put your post in. Number one, you can actually tag the location, which is cool. There's also a little twirl down that has to do with promote. And then there's another one that has to do with either public or private. So
Right.
you can actually add those in during your, let's say, your automated or posting.
Yeah, your scheduling process.
Your scheduling, just like you would do just entering a message. So that's all included.
It's all part of your regular status update. The new feature in there is the scheduling ability. And yeah, I mean, just kind of to circle back to the promoted posts, we talked about that a couple weeks ago when Facebook first introduced that. So again, all right, so let's say that you have a promotion that you want to run. You could schedule it, and then you could also promote it. Because if it's something that is going to be really big and that you've got a good community, a good group of fans who may take action on that promotion,
Right.
then it makes sense to maybe try and give it a promoted post a try and get more than, that average 12% view. And I have to say that seems to be a very accurate average.
Yeah.
I've been looking at the stats on Current Photographer, and some posts are dogs. Some posts don't draw any traffic at all. They, it's like very low percentage.
Yeah, and some are stellar, right?
And then other things go through the roof. And, I'm pushing 75, 80% interaction. So that's huge. But the 12% for an average post on an average day is about right. So by doing the promoted post, you will get that added exposure.
Yeah, you get that little bump
for it. But you'll get a bump.
Yeah. I just, I like that, Facebook decided to take that little box that is just usually your status update box and now, give it much more functionality. They really kind of did a lot of homework and still keeping it nice and clean and simple, but giving you so much more power from that status update little box than you had in the past. So that's really cool. Props to Facebook for thinking about it,
Yeah, I think it's they've been doing some nice improvements over the last month or so.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool stuff. Thanks for that. I'm gonna have some of those coming out soon too as we go on here. But yeah, I love the idea of being able to give our listeners the multimedia little tidbits and specials that they can see going into the video side of it. So it's cool.
Yeah, and they're all recorded in HD. So when you look at our video in HD, you'll see really pretty good quality of these screen captures. You're not going to see small pixelated things that you can't read. I mean, they are HD. So you pop them. I mean, if you're watching, Joe and
TV?
Trev on the big screen TV,
God forbid.
you'll be able to read these things from across the room.
Hopefully not. But no, it's true. That's great. That's great. I love it. So all right, Trev, I think we need to close this up before we start going long like we do at times.
Yeah, I think so. So thanks again, everyone, for giving us some time here. And as with, our listener comment at the beginning of the show, if you guys have anything that you would like discussed or anything that you just want to talk about, feel free to shoot us a message through the contact form at digitalphotographycafe.com, or you can connect with us on Twitter at dphotocafe. So, Joe, if people want to learn more about what you're doing, how can they connect?
Well, they can find me at alluremm.com, on Twitter at Joseph Christina, and that's Christina without an H, and on Facebook, facebook.com/AllureMM, and of course, Google+. You can go to g+jc.com.
Excellent. And you can keep up with me on Twitter at Trevor Current, and at our new Twitter account, it's at Current Photo. And of course, check out our website at currentphotographer.com and facebook.com/Current Photographer.
All right, Trev, awesome information as always. So I'd like to thank the listeners, of course, for their continued support. If you enjoy the show, we encourage you to subscribe for free in iTunes or via RSS to have them delivered to your computer automatically. If you're listening on the go, fear not. Everything that we covered during this week's show can easily be found in our show notes at our website, digitalphotographycafe.com. Once again, keep your questions and comments coming, and we'll talk to you next week.